Welcome back. You're still watching a season 4 sitting with Stan. Now we're discussing men in the middle. Ingakho iscore. This is the second half. The score is still 4 referees and season 4 for Brastan. Thank you so much, Brastan. Ukutusilethele abo referee, and they've made their mark khona la South Africa, and also not only in South Africa. Sekuyisikhathi and bane experience uma ubheka imidlalo abayiphathile even outside of South Africa. Obviously, apart from players, there's also that side. There was a statement that was made. They benefited from referees' mistakes. Have you ever experienced any problem nabo referee match? Nabo coach?
Yes.
Which coach?
Mr. Msman. Upitso gave me a tough time.
What happened?
I was doing their game with Ajax in Cape Town. And I was surprised because they won the match. He said, Qongqo is always on billiard. And I've done their game before.
Yeah.
When I get in the stadium, he said, yo, this Qongqo again. You see that attitude?
Yeah.
Even myself, I was not well when I was doing that match. There was nothing much in that match. But when we were on the tunnel going to the dressing room, I was happy because there were no cameras. He pushed me, and I pushed him back. You know what Peter Rabopara said? Utu Rabopara, when Peter was apologizing, Rabopara said to me, was he going to apologize if you didn't push him back? Maybe because of that. Sometimes Aban Basnika a tough time, of which mistakes are there.
Bennett?
Yeah, but you know what Pizza's good at? He's good at playing on your mind. I never had a problem with Pizza at all in my whole career.
Who then?
Yeah.
My one guy, Roger de Sa.
Rogerio.
Such a nice guy. I mean, I used to be in charge of Joburg South football, schools football,
Yeah.
and his son was in the district side. So I'd meet him. Nice guy, chilled guy. Put him inside the technical area, total switch, because obviously he's emotional. He never wants to lose a game. Nobody wants to lose a game,
sure.
but his passion for winning, it's on another level once he's inside that technical area.
What happened that day?
So there was one game I was refereeing. It was Wits versus Supersport, and if Supersport had won the game, they needed 1 point from their last game to win the league for the 3rd time in a row. Second last game of the season is against Wits. I don't give a penalty for Wits. Now, I can tell this story because everybody knows about it. I played in a golf day one day, and I was drawn by random to play with Gavin Hunt about a year before this game. So I don't give the penalty. Supersport win. They're on track for their 3rd title. They get a draw in the last game. They've won it. So they're basically got one hand on the PSL trophy. First time ever somebody's won it 3 times in a row. So I go into the dressing room, and Roger de Sa is running up and down the tunnel, banging on my dressing room door, screaming all sorts of insults and threats, banging on the Supersport door. Now I'm thinking I'm the same situation as a Qongqo. Okay, we've got PSL security, but there's 22 of those Wits boys in that dressing room. There's 4 of us and 2 securities. And he was banging, screaming blue murder. Up and down the dressing room, banging on the door.
What does he say?
I can't tell you. It's a family program.
He said it was just screaming.
All sorts of
Insults.
foul, abusive, insulting language, but quite hectic stuff.
Yeah.
My name was Steve Compel, who happens to be my friend. I was doing Frazer Stars cheaper. So Frazer Stars lost on the last minute. So he wanted to demand us to shake his hand.
Who's this?
Steve Compel.
Oh.
I didn't shake his hand. He came to the dressing room. He wanted me to shake his hand. I grabbed his hand, I grabbed his head next to me. I was doing it with a purpose. I wanted him to feel that I don't want to shake his hand. So he cannot force me.
Yeah.
But he happened to be my friend from that day. I used to call each other. He said, Tinyane, if I didn't know that you are a policeman, I was going to have a problem. Then I tell him back, said, Steve, he was not aware that you were a maths teacher before. I was going to have a problem, but now I'm okay.
Steve's favorite line, do you remember?
Yeah.
He always used to use it. The referee's drunk. He's drunk again and again.
Your experience with the coaches?
Yeah.
Steve Kopela.
Roger Vele is number one.
Roger Disa.
Yeah, Roger Disa is number one. Roger will insult us in Portuguese. And you know, PSL wants you to write the exact words. If you give him a red, he must write the exact words. Now, we did not know Portuguese. Then the other one, I was fourth official for Tinyane. Vets, Golden Arrows. Clinton Larsen, Niggas, Mand. How Gavin Hunt. How Gavin you at Kalalana. I think it was more extra time. MTN 8, you know, beginning of the season, Friday night. I think that was the first game, Friday night. Everyone is watching that game.
Right.
There comes Gavin. He insulted this once. Just a debe. Manje, Udla said, he retaliate. Umandla na two. Umandla na two.
Same to you.
Same to you.
Yeah.
Manje say, ngikala la kulezi asekhaya. Hayi bafo easy man. Usabe mlungu. Usabe mlungu. Kala kumlungu ngathi manje seniyadelela. Ngabizwa uNtinyane. Hey, Tinyane goal kick. Angangiboni. Hey. Uyadlala mayiphuma ehoza. Oza ngangena groundini.
Yeah.
Hayi weza ngithi, hey, Gavin red card. Mandla red card. Larsen red card. It's 2 men. Hey, if you don't give them, I'm going home. He said, hey, you could see now that I'm serious.
Yeah.
I go figure, no? You insulted for using abusive language. Red. Baba fika le channel and say, I shake my song. Look at these guys.
And also fighting with the coaches and those players.
Yeah.
Also outside the field, you find fans, supporters. After the match, they're angry. Have you ever experienced when you were then officiating some game and then later you find yourself in a situation where you have to face the music of the fans?
I think it was the 2002 ABSA Cup final, Cosmos versus Chiefs. And the first goal was offside, first of all. We didn't know. We gave the goal. And they showed the replay on the screen. We came from halftime. Chiefs went first, Cosmos went, because in the old FMB there was a tunnel from the field going to the dressing rooms. So the fans saw the heads of the Cosmos players, the heads of the Chiefs players. The next 4 heads that popped out was us, and we just felt
The referees.
bottles, whiskey tumblers, plastic bottles, missiles of any sort of description coming. And we said, what is going on? My commissioner was Steve Goddard. And he said, you guys just enjoy the second half. They showed the replay on the screen. So that's why you've got the reaction, which is quite cool of him to tell us why.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, this reaction. So we know we just need to switch on and focus. Game goes on. Jabu Pule goes down. 2 minutes to go. 90 plus 2. I'm playing 4 minutes. There's 2 minutes left. It goes down in the penalty area. I do not give it. I still look at it now, and it's not a penalty. And then more missiles onto the pitch. We stopped the game for half an hour because Phillip has left the PSL. He's formed it, went back to the UK. Now this is his first day back when he took over on his second tenure. So he says, Daniel, we're going to have to abandon the game. So I said to him, Trevor, if we abandon the game, maybe your rules will force a replay. Do you want the fans to depict how you run your league? So, you heard that big British voice. He says, no, I don't want that. I said, well, if we clear the stadium, I've got 2 minutes to play. We finish the game, and the score still stands. We carry on. We finish the game. That was on a Saturday afternoon. Monday morning, I used to work at a school down the road in Mondio. I was the head of sport there, and I did PE teaching. Monday morning, we had our valediction service where they choose all the prefects and all the sports awards and the academic awards, all the prizes. My boss phones me, says, do not come into work until it's 9:30, because we've got about 25 Chiefs fans waiting at the front gate for you. That's the story.
Unomnye ubaba bengisuka naye emthatha lo tata lo. Uthi kum every day usebenza apha ku flight. Uthi le weekend uyodlisa baphi? And before I took it as a joke, but ngoku amake ndimbuze namhlanje uyodlisa baphi? All the time this guy is asking uyodlisa baphi? Ndithi uzama uthini umsebenzi wethu uthi niyadlisa nini? And I was like, this guy is joking. And I've noticed that this guy is not joking.
No.
He is a fan of a certain team, but I'm not going to mention it. Wena oyifuni team yami. And kuthiwa ubuyifan ye-Chiefs wena, but i-Chiefs uyidlisa. And I was like, i-debut is reflect kangaki. Not even a single game we won when we were referee. Tell me. I said, man, I don't want to talk to you. It was like that. They supported the Hlungwani. It's exactly the same.
But I ain't myself.
Hey, these people were
Yeah, in Africa, yeah. Well, it tells the way they have handled themselves as referees with Manje. They've been around. And what I like most is when you hear them saying, at times you need to manage Ilento temper yakho and manage these players. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. Being a coach, being a referee, it's not easy. I mean, I don't know whether they are well paid for that. Because manje, it's, I would say, they even threaten them. We'll kill you. What? Can you imagine when they say that? And we are going back home, thinking about what that man has said to me. As a supporter, I will say that to you. Now, it's not easy. But for so many years, the gentlemen have been officiating and they are still looking good, as I said earlier. My worry was, why do they retire now? Because you can see their legs can still carry them. They can still be referees. Why? Because I don't see any marksmen or good cartel. Players who have retired, now we have out, but it's finished. This man is finished.
And you can testify to that. Ukuthi imlende savuma. Konje begijima kanjani my officiate?
Yeah. This is about Dladla. You know, one day I was in Malawi.
Yeah.
I was with Gomez. So I called Gomez to come and sign because Gomez can understand Zulu. Hey, Mlungu, come and sign. They said, it's not Mlungu. It's Mzungu. I said, hey, Mlungu is God here in Malawi. So all I'm saying, shorta Big Jack. Angazi Big Jack. Ubrastan uyazi Big Jack. Mina ngithi bale nomunye Malawi ngathi huye, but I was not sure. Kuthi Ubrastan Big Jack.
Big Jack, uyele Malawi.
Obviously, when you go to these countries and officiating, it could be the AFCON, could be the qualifiers.
Yeah.
The experience that the team are talking about, the treatment they receive when they go to these countries, do you guys maybe experience the same thing in terms of treatment, in terms of food there, and also being treated otherwise?
They don't take it as hectic as on the referees as they do with, like, say, Bafana. But it certainly is tough traveling in Africa. First of all, you're in a foreign country. If you mess up the game and the home team loses, whether it's a national team or in the CAF Confederation Cup or CAF Champions League, your protection is supplied by the home team.
Yeah.
So they don't have to protect you if they lose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's especially difficult refereeing Qongqo, DRC, West Africa, because it's so aggressive.
Yeah.
They tend to generally book us okay accommodation and the food's not bad, but there certainly is an element of intimidation when the home team doesn't get their way.
Yeah. And the hotels, but the hotels are good for you guys.
I think it depends on how you performed in your previous match, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So if you've been to that team before and they lost, you're not going to get
a good accommodation.
You're not going to get anything above a 2-star. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah.
Ngihambe naye kaningi. Tunisia, Esperance, Nigeria. Ngikhumbula Nigeria bakokota room yaka Bennett angazi abamtholanga. Bakokota la kwamela bathi, Mr. Victor, how are you going to assist us to win this match? Mr. Bennett, no talk. You must score first. If you want to win the match, you must score first. Oh, we must score first. I tell you, chairman, you must score first, then you win the match. Mr. Bennett, no talk for Mzungu. You must score first. Tunisia, but you go Bennett. Mr. Bennett, when am I gonna win? The chairman wants to know. You know, Bennett. No, you must score. Huh? There's nothing I can do. You must go. You must go.
Did you experience any problems when you were abroad?
My first experience in Africa was bad.
Yeah.
Was bad. I was with you. Do you still remember DRC and Tunisia? I'm not sure whether it was AFCON qualifier. DRC scored 2 goals in the first half. Bennett said to me, I must add 6 minutes after the match. Tunisia score 2-2, and DRC is out.
In 6 months. In 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what happened? They said the Tunisian team must leave the field. As the referees together with DRC players must leave the field of play. No! We were like, do you still remember? It was myself, you, and the Marwa, the guy from Kenya. And Zakele. It was bad, and it was my second match in Africa. And I told myself, never again. But I fig appointment accepted because there's money.
Yeah.
But I was, dollars.
Not
And I was
rand.
thinking about that match. What if something like
That
happened in another game? It is not easy in Africa. Things are bad there. It's worse in that game. There were missiles, bottles, stones, everything on us. Yeah.
And also, those are important games for those countries. Have you ever been called for a certain team offering the bribe?
They don't call you because they can get access to our numbers. I suppose they can, but what's the famous trick, Victor? Under the door, no?
Yeah, under the door, yeah.
Envelope?
Envelope, yeah.
5,000 US, easy, under the door. And the reason why they do that is that you can't see who's done it.
Who gave you the
offered
money?
Who's offered you the bribe.
Yeah.
So what we used to do is, and this is why South African referees have always done well in Africa. We're honest, we're not corrupt, and if we make a mistake in Africa, it's a genuine mistake. The game has not been thrown. There's no way, and we've got a very good reputation for that, Stan.
Yeah.
With CAF, that our referees are always honest and straight down the middle. So whoever the referee is takes the envelopes back, gives it to the match commissioner, and then we have to report it to the FIFA Integrity Committee. What happens to the money after that? We have no control over.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm told, Guti, that our South African referees are the best
Yes.
in Africa.
But that one is
That's what I heard. But they don't want them because they don't take bribes. Now,
That's a genuine story.
yeah,
It's a fact.
that's what I heard.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I heard.
What did you do on your first time that happened?
First time I just took all the envelopes. I actually went to the team coordinator and I said, what is this? He says, no, we know you don't get paid a lot. Because what was the fee then?
It was 750 by then.
750 US for the match fee. So not per day, for the whole trip.
The whole trip, yeah.
And some teams would say, no, we know you don't get paid very well from, or the match fee is not very high, so we want to remunerate you.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
And ngale sikhathi mayithi 750 ubheka indaba bathi uzuma uchange icabinet ususi ukhiphe iminister of finance uyazi ukuthi yakhuphuka irand. So when Zuma remove one minister, it ran from 14 to 17, 18. Then you quickly have to change the dollar before it goes down. Before I replace it with another minister. Yeah, so
You have to change them and speak.
yeah, it's 750. Lenye lena hayi besivela sithi hayi.
Yeah.
Hayi salele.
Yake yangena phansi kwabakho umnyango.
Mina bakokotile. So babakokota Nigeria, bakokota Tunisia. There's another country food. Mara lezi 2 ngiyazikhumbula la. But when are we gonna win? You must score. Then yaphelela la. Yeah. Then bakora ba win and then abazanga babu. Maybe basangkolota ngas.
And you also find that the job you guys are doing, there's also media scrutiny, where you wake up in the morning, you find yourself in a back page of certain newspapers for your job. When you first experience the bad publicity on your side, kwakunjani?
Hey, you can say
Angiqale
that
lapha.
again. Awuqale Tinyane.
Yeah.
It was the first time South African referee were doing this suspension of referees. You remember, Vic, the three of us were part of the first group where anyway get suspended, but you never heard anything from the committee. Only people tell you, yeah, you are suspended, but you don't even know what happened.
For what?
Hey, that was the best thing, the worst thing that I've come across with it. Yeah.
Mina banginika appointment eMozambique. Ya bengihamba no Bennett ya. Manje ngilimele la enyawo 2012. Angazi ilike kanjani information ukuthi bangishayile la enyaweni. Manje ngithi Mozambique, I've never been to Mozambique and I'm fourth official. Ngeke ngidecline kule appointment.
Yeah.
Ngiyaya. Umlungu wami uBennett ngiyazoyiqeda igame. Mara bengikhona ukugijima mara ngithi no. Let me go to the match. I went to the match. And then Sabuya 2012 sagijima fitness test at Boxburg. I think 9 senior referees failed. Only Bennett passed that year. The whole country was crying.
Yeah,
No,
it was hectic, eh?
no, the league won't start. Jerome Damons, Buile Kobola, Hlungwani, all these top referees failed the test. Now it was like, hey, only Bennett will referee all this game. It cannot be. Then there were referees who went to DRC for the match, including Libukang Daniel. Now, the story was about Libukang Daniel, but all of a sudden they put my big head there. Mark Gleason. Why fucking talk yami brother? I could is one I use extra large fit to travel and fit to rent. I still have that copy of Sowetan. Manje mara lo mlungu unjani lo mlungu angizomthola.
Yeah.
Manje when you fail a FIFA fitness test, you have to run in another country. So I went to Tanzania to run the next fitness test. After running there, I passed. That thing gave me, courage to say, I want them to write fit to referee now.
Yeah.
It never came. I passed, and then it was quiet, but at least umunyu angizamanyana bathu banu ku City Press mnganami la to know the big guns are back. So umama wami bamnika le newspaper emsebenzini but the big guns are back. So angibuza ngesishangana, hey bere shibhamu shibuyile. Kasi ushibhamu we. Mina hani shibhamu mama.
Yeah.
It is that the big guns are back. Yeah.
So I can still remember.
Yeah.
Maybe it was too much for you. That was maybe the biggest story when you officiating some game. I think it was Uganda and Ghana game. That was also on papers.
Last game of my career.
Yeah. What happened?
So it was a World Cup qualifier game, Uganda, Ghana, and last stage of qualification. So last match of the round, and Ghana had to beat Uganda, and then also needed to depend on Egypt drawing the following day. So I get appointed to the Uganda game, but I'm appointed with 2 assistant referees from the Seychelles, who I've never worked with, never met in my life. So how's this working relationship gonna work? So long story short, there was 2 goals scored by Ghana players. In both situations, flags went up for offside. Now, it's very difficult for me to make a call on offside because I'm not in line with the second last defending player. So if the flag goes up, I've got to pretty much accept it. Both goals were not offside, and they were wrong. So although Ghana, if Egypt had lost, I think Ghana could have qualified, but Ghana's argument regarding the result was Egypt went into their match in a better mindset because they knew that Ghana had lost. subsequent to a disciplinary meeting with the CAF Referees Committee on Teams or Zoom or whatever it is, suspended for 6 months, and that was unfortunately my last game on the international list because I didn't get a game for a year and a half. I kept my badge, but then I realized I'm not going to get another game for a year and a half after a year and a half, so I might as well just pack it in, retire, and then let another youngster come through. So yeah, that was the situation. 2 offside goals, which failed Ghana to qualify for the World Cup 2018.
That was your final international game.
Final international match, yeah.
Obviously, when those decisions and also that also affected you, and they will agree when that happened, and also the pressure that comes with your job, the supporters, the media, obviously it takes a toll. Obviously losing that as well mentally, we always avoid these issues of mental health, depression. Did that affected you in that path?
It was tough to deal with the suspension because it wasn't, if it was a penalty or a wrong red card, I would be able to accept it. But what hurt me the most was it wasn't my fault. But also, when you're a referee, you know they're the leader of the team. So you're in sort of 2 minds that you're the leader of the team, but could you have changed the decision? Because I can't see offside from my position in the middle of the field.
Can you overrule the
You can,
linesman?
but you have to be 100% sure that.
Exactly.
And these were very tight offsides. Both offsides were very tight.
Do you think VAR will help us
For sure. For
In
sure.
those issues?
in those issues?
Yeah, 100%.
So you're all confident that VAR will help us?
VAR, ngoba laba criticize, they criticize us based on VAR, on slow motion. So why don't you give us slow motion to review? So if we are given slow motion, singakhipha abaningi Brasten man. Yes. Hey, basinda abanye. Kunomunye usindile izolo. uMaritzburg ne-Sundowns besiyomkhipha nge-VR.
Yeah.
And ikhona la ekhountrini ngoba uyasebenza ku-CAF kodwa isebenza ku-PSL na-CAF.
Isebenza ku-CAF.
Yeah.
And also, you can join the conversation on Twitter. Sit with Stan, it's our Twitter handle, and also the hashtag Sitting with Stan. And also, Leo Pressure, you spoke about...
Sundowns Chiefs.
Yeah.
I was doing Telkom knockout final. It was 2015, if I still remember. Yo, Prasten Dali la Nyembes. One guy in Umtata, he called me. Where are you? It was in April. My game was in December 15, Telkom knockout final. He said, you are on papers, my brother. After 4 months, I was like, oh man, in my game was doing, yesterday there was nothing. He said, no, you were doing Telkom knockout final in December. Now it's April. I was on paper, suspended for a penalty I've given in that match. And it's even worse. It was an assistant ref who said to me, penalty goal. And I was like, yo.
And it affected you?
Yo, the whole of my life. I was like killing myself. It was bad because everybody sending messages. In Eastern Cape, you know, Daily Dispatch. I was on Daily Dispatch, front page. Qongqo killing Sundowns. Sundowns won 3-1 score, beating Chiefs in that final because I've given 2 penalties against Sundowns. I was like, my brother, I didn't sleep on that day. And I was worrying about my kids also.
Yeah, sure.
But again, I try to adapt. And I was Hlungwani and about Tinyane, if I still remember. And I was happy the next day when I checked the papers. Oh, Hlungwani is there, Tinyane is there. At least my heart was like, oh, Tinyane is suspended for this, Hlungwani is suspended for this. And I was like, it's better. But I was asking myself a question, why? Mine was in December. Theirs, it was just March. You see those things.
Yeah. Mentally, Vic, especially apart from being suspended for those, but also the pressure that you guys receive from supporters.
Yeah, when you make a big mistake, surely psychologically you will be affected. But we were lucky, we were very strong. We could call one another and talk to one another. The only problem is if you don't talk, and then it's shy. But when you talk about it, over free, I think I'm tanda lomlongolo. Kune game, I'm suspend. Sfanese hamba na Cameroon. They replaced him with Gomez. So he came to us at the airport. I'm suspended. Look, how? suspension light. So that is the spirit we have. So you could learn from him that, hey, you must take things light sometimes because there's nothing you can do. You can't change it. It's like, umama makafika tino, uyinja. And then utatis bam yam dubuli ofele jail. Tina makati uyinja Hlungwani hangnam sila man. Ona how life is. Take it easy hangnam sila.
So do you get support in terms of those issues? Support
system.
mental health is.
Well, we support each other, yeah. So we literally have been through this journey together. We are literally like brothers. So if somebody's battling, we phone. But there's no actual professional help from the PSL or SAFA side. But as a unit, we watch games, we give advice, and if the guys really down in the dumps, we try and just pick them up as much as they can. And it's not nice being suspended. I can trust, because you don't mean to make mistakes, obviously, but I'm a human being, I'm not a robot, I'm going to make mistakes, and then you end up getting suspended when you've put all your effort and all your training throughout the week, and you go and have maybe one game-changing incident, you're out for 6 weeks.
But you heard from Qongqo ukuthi lento ibashaya kanjani, because he was even crying. Can you imagine a referee khala? I mean,
even I called you see that game of Black Leopards? I said, I stopped refereeing. You know what he said to me? He said, doctors used to operate people in hospitals, and then people passed away. Do you want to say to me that doctor is going to leave his job? You must continue doing your job.
Yeah.
A mistake is a mistake.
Yeah.
The other thing that helped us was we had many teachers. Bennett teacher, Hlungwani teacher, Jerome. Khona manje ukugcwele amaphoyisa angazi boyihandla kanjani ngoba iphoyisa iyabopha. Thina we have that psychological aspect of helping one another. Hayi kugcwele amaphoyisa ipanel yamanje.
Oh.
But I was happy Hlungwani when we were doing that team. They are a team from Tinyane, where they are just shouting even before the match. You know, one game Tinyane was my fourth official. He said to me, no, don't mind. After the match, I've got 2 guns. I will sort these people. I know I'm from this place. I'm going to sort them out. Don't even have a problem, Qongqo. There is nothing we have done. If it's a mistake, it's a mistake. I will deal with them. After the match, it was Pat Malabe. After the match, they called us and said, no, just keep quiet. I will say what to do. He was having 2.
But hey, when I Qongqo.
Qongqo.
And with us, it was easy because we used to call each other. We used to watch each other's games. If a flop, one of them will call, hey, today I made a mess, man. Maybe you're supposed to do it. That it works as a mentality to us. So even I watch his games, I say, hey, today I've done well. Keep it up. If you made a mistake, today, no. You have a bad day in the office. So it helps us to grow.
But do they suspend you guys?
Yeah, not like this. Because us, we have a plan during those days. We were discussing about our decisions, like what Tinyane is saying. If Bennett saw me making a mistake in a match, he called me, Qongqo, how do you feel? What is your take in that decision? We discussed about it. It was this one. I like it. Hlungwani used to call you even if you made a mistake from his game. You also made a mistake in your game. We talk about it. But these days, I'm not sure what is happening. A mistake after mistake. But on us, we discuss about these things.
You discuss these issues, but there's that issue of being a referee getting paid less than 5,000. How true is that?
Less than 5,000. PSL yapatala manje. I think it's around, from a referee match, it's around 6 point something.
Per match?
Per match. These days. Marasilwile, we had to go.
How much was
Sifuna ku strike and then, but nifuna ku strike. Faki by faki site in again. So, when we started, it was 5,000. Markona manje ingon. Lesilwela yona manje le kuti bafana bayilungisa. Brasten na Wetland. But when I'm the cup final, the teams are playing for 7 million, but you still get 6,000. It's not all about money, but
it's not good.
What if a team comes and but tempt someone, but is 200,000? That person, they've killed his mind. So, but if you know you're going to get good monies, then now you are able to resist the temptation. Some majority of us were able to refuse temptation because we are working. But what if they tell someone who's not working at all? Babati 100, I can pay long imkolota bonke. So if PSL could correct that by ICAF by lungizil. Mawenzi Bennett, you'll correct me. Cup final, ICAF, the money is more, even semi-final. So in South Africa, we still have, you are paid the same for teams that are playing for more money. So, and our teams, you know how naughty they are. Bye, kokot. So when they knock, but Tolauta strong, we are well. Mawa kokot Tolauta strong, we've got, let me finish my career with dignity.
When you're working, when you retire, you get your package.
What package?
Package.
I'm saying the retirement fund. Do you get those?
Akuna next, but we have started a retirement fund ourselves. But not many referees are contributing to that, only few that are contributing to that. It also helps us when there's a funeral, because I'm the chairperson. So when there's a funeral, we contribute into that, then we send to the family. But when a referee retires, there's nothing that comes in from the other, either SAFA or PSL. But we are engaging them. We continue to engage them to say, so that the referee can retire with dignity. Even if you give them 10 or 15 or 20, it's better. But all of us, we have retired. Zero.
Got nothing.
No return.
I could mama sibona umunye wangibuza ekhaya athi no, hey imali retirement injani? Akuna nchumo.
Looking at what we spoke about VAR, let's look at the way forward. If you have that opportunity at Tseni to change anything, ngabo ref, what can you change going forward?
With the issue of VAR, I think it's on the pipeline. Maybe it can take time for us to have it, a year or so. But it's in the pipeline when I heard it from the SAFA structures. So it will help our referees.
If VAR does it, do you have a panel for you guys to...
With VAR, obviously there's the implementation of the technology and then the training of the VAR and AVARs. So you have to have a VAR who watches and the monitor and picks up any clear and obvious errors that the referee might have made. If it's a matter-of-fact decision, did an offence happen inside the penalty area or outside?
Yeah.
Or is it a matter of fact a crossover for offside? So now you know where the attacking player's position is. It's clear, it's matter of fact. It doesn't need an opinion. Then the VAR can tell the referee to either give a penalty or a free kick outside the penalty area. Is the attacking player offside or not? Because that's matter of fact. When it comes to intensity of a challenge, or especially handball, because handball is very complicated nowadays, and it's always going to be, or is a foul a red card if the referee didn't give, then the referee has to have an OFR and goes to the monitor to the side of the field of play.
But what I see is that when there's a dispute, a referee runs by himself. He's not with anyone. Now those guys who are the panel there, I see them having 4 or 5.
Yes. Well, at the World Cup there was 8.
Yeah.
So those people on the panel, the VARs and AVARs, all need training. Once the implementation of the software and the technology is up, then the selected VARs and AVARs, so you have to have minimum 2 per match. So how many games do we have on a weekend? We have 8 matches, but they're spread over Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you need 2 per match. So I think we have most 4 games on a Saturday, all at different times. Or if there's 5, then you need 10 officials for VAR and AVR. Sometimes you can have more. I think in the UK they have, 4. So there'll be a VAR, AVAR 1, 2, AVAR.
So they
3.
all look at differently.
So the VAR will watch the main footage, and if there is a need for a VAR review or an on-field review, he will still be checking the footage, but the game still carries on. Remember, the game still carries on while he's looking. So that's what the VAR is mainly there for, to watch the rest of the game in case something happens in the match while the VAR is watching the first incident, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you guys maybe, I'm not sure, I'm just through you, mhlambe as retired referees, this is where they are going also to play a part in terms of them being on those VAR. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if that will be the case, because here's Gomez has retired.
Yes.
But I heard that he'll be one to look after Ilende VAR.
Yeah, there were talks that VAR is very expensive. There's an easier way of having VAR, like in a studio, where we can have one studio, and that is linked to people playing in different stadiums. So we'll have VAR team, which will be controlled by retired referees. Maybe that's a job creation for us. We don't know, but we just had this on the pipeline. So if it's centralized in one place, then we will be able to check and tell a referee in KZN, stop the game, stop the game. We must review, and then he goes and review, and then when he comes back, he will decide on himself. The only time, like Bennett said, where the VAR will tell the ref is offside. Offside because they have to draw the line, so you can't go there to watch the line. They draw the line, they tell him, it's offside, and then he overruled the goal. But all these other incidents, sometimes they will say, go and check, and then he comes up.
Yeah, but there's still controversies, even though they still have this VAR, especially when you want when you watch EPL.
EPL, the VAR is a nightmare.
There's still, people are not happy. I heard, what's his name, Moyes from West Ham, who was saying, look, like my team is not being respected because of a VAR. So it's a solution, I don't know.
It is.
But what I had with England, because VAR take 2 years to train.
2 years.
Yeah, so England, I tatang in 2 years in microwave. But it must
So they were too quick.
they were too quick to implement it.
Okay.
So that's why Yamashaya now.
Yeah, okay. It's all right.
Sensebenzile, you've worked so hard for your names in this industry, and there are people out there still believe they want to venture into refereeing. And do you think they should take it as a hobby, or should just focus on being referees?
At the moment in South Africa, it's a hobby because there's no one who's professional. We work, and if you fail a fitness test, there's no income. So why should you take it as a job? A job, you sign a contract. So in refereeing, there's no contract. You run a fitness test, you pass, you are in the panel. They call you for game. If they decide not to give you games, they won't call you. So it means there won't be income. So it's a hobby, let's put it that way. Right. So until such time is professionalized where you'll have a contract, then you can.
That is why you are encouraging these young referees to go to school.
Exactly.
Not only focusing in refereeing.
Just to advise those people who still want to join refereeing, what would you say to them?
Like Victor says, you can't make it a job opportunity because, say, for instance, like he said, you fail fitness test. What if you get injured and you're out for a year? I mean, I got injured at the World Cup. I was out for 8 weeks, no income. So I wouldn't lean on refereeing as a career. Hobby for sure. Advice would be, obviously, you need to work hard. You need to have a thick skin. A very thick skin for football refereeing. If you can't take criticism, being sworn at by spectators and players or fans, or being in the street. I mean, I've had situations at shopping malls with fans. So if you can't handle that, don't get into football refereeing. And it's the first thing we tell young kids who want to start refereeing is, like, don't depend on it as an income. It is a hobby. If you do get the opportunity, I'll use an example. Sean Olive, who passed away 2 years ago in that car accident. I used to teach him at Mondial Primary. And he started as a hobby, and it started getting more serious. And then it became an opportunity for him to earn money. But he didn't solely rely on refereeing. So that's advice to youngsters there.
Mr. Stanley, you brought us this gentleman. We've got the juices
we've heard
from their experience.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
No. All I can say to them, I will pray for them to be part of that VAR system. I'll be the happiest man in the world because their experience will help us. That's for sure. There's nothing to beat experience. Nobody's born with experience, but as you work, that's when you get experience. If they have worked as referees, they've been referees for years. So I'll pray for them to be part of that VAR system.
Ayasibabonge Preston.
No. Thank you very much, gents. Thank you very much, gents.
Usi commentator la.
Maybe. Yeah.
No, if he wants to be a commentator, it's fine.
Ekushayela yona kancane Preston.
One game.
One game.
Ekushayela yona kancane.
I-game eyi-one nje ukuthi manje aka-commentate mhlambe he can be
Uma kayishaya manje.
Uyishaya
I think
manje.
Preston
Uyangibulala.
uyena uzoskipha njengoba sesihamba nje.
Yeah. Just
E-commentator.
ngo-commentate awushaye nje
Awushaye.
kayi-one nje
Sobe sikulalela nje.
usikhiphe apha.
Hlungwana uyangibulala. Wathi ke
Kayi-one nje, yeah.
mandinikhiphe.
Yeah.
Vele usikhiphe nje lapha ya.
Mandibulele awufika ngugalekile ku sitting with Stan. Siyanqoza ufika ukhona uPreston ngaphesheya phamphulaphula ecala kwakukhona uFrazer Bennett. Xa ndijonga ipolice officer ngoba xa ngiuPhillip kaTinyane ukanti on my left hand side ikhona indoda enkulu kuthiwa ngutalkative ngoba xa ngiuVictor Emmanuel Onyekasi Hlungwane ukhona umntaka Simtho Dladla mandishiye indawo.
Nawo komunye umsebenzi.
George Koch
Yeah.
siyaqhamuka ngebaba mawuqhamuka George Koch uyabona kugcwele
Yeah, uyabona lapha.
uyabona baba
Grandstand.
hayibo yagcwele khona kanje kanisize lana
Yama uvela nje nge-freeway. Ngoba le-ground. Yeah.
basimayithi isijiki hayibo kanisize la kugcwele wakhala ushangasi athi sizodlala la
Yeah.